Every country has bad aspects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody asks you, what do you hate or what do you dislike about your country, what would you say?
I wouldn't say hate for one, but for dislike, I think maybe the
So, what kind of country do you want Singapore to be in the future for yourself?
I would say
Today, I'm in Singapore and I'm gonna hit the street to ask people here what they like about their country and what they hate about their country. Let's hit the street and what Singaporeans really think. On this channel, I share all kinds of stories and the insights from around the world, giving you a chance to discover something new every time. Okay, then jump right into it. Let me ask you first. If somebody asks you, what do you like about your country? What would you say?
The multiracial aspect. Like, I learn a lot about different cultures here. Like, I have a lot of Chinese friends, Christian friends, some Hindu also, and I'm like also Muslim lah. So I get to appreciate all the different religions. Like, you know, some people they feel like they wouldn't get along with different religions, but I feel like that's not the case here.
I'll say Singapore is a very efficient country, very clean in terms of the township as well as the city landscape. Everything runs perfect, as well as the transportation. Right from the time you land at the airport and then you make your way to the other part of the island, very efficient, very easy. Yeah, that's about it. And it's very clean and it's quite tidy.
I would say the safety and probably the food. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Our local, which
Yeah?
is chicken rice.
Okay,
yeah.
chicken rice.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I think I like the food here, like the local food is really good and unique, and I also like how Singapore as like a financial hub is able to bring people around, and so like the way you earn the money is not too bad. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think when I was growing up, I always used to see like the negative kind of sides of Singapore. I think that's just the Singaporean in us, right? We're like super skeptical of our own country, but then, you know, when other people say something about it, then you get really protective and all. But as I started traveling, went to other countries, surprisingly, I realized, you know, like the safety of the country is really underrated. Just being able to, you know, walk at night with your friends, not having to worry about things. Another aspect is definitely how like this is also something that's a lot of foreigners talk about, but as Singaporeans we don't realize ourselves. So I only kind of like understood this when other people, you know, when like exchange students in my university came and told me, and they say that, you know, it's amazing how like greenery, how the green spaces in the country,
nature, right?
yeah, like right here, right, like trees.
But every country has bad aspects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody asks you, what do you hate or what do you dislike about your country, what would you say?
I think the issue about Singapore as a small country itself right now, I think in terms of the stress level, especially for companies as well as the workers, are that we are competing against the global. So as a small country with no resources, competing against countries like China, even from Korea or even Japan, as well as US, Europe, with no resources, the only thing that we have is actually the manpower. So, and we do not, our market size is actually very small. So market is not really here, but the country itself pride itself as an efficient global city. So that is the only driving or the precious resources that we have that will help Singapore compete on the global scale. But that itself actually come at the expense of the people here, working here. Stressful, most of the time we'll be thinking about work. Yeah.
don't really hate it, but more like actually nothing much to hate about. Yeah, it's I think the government is okay. Although, every government has good and bad things. So but our government does very well.
Country, right? I used to think everything is so kind of like created in a. It's almost like constructed, so it doesn't feel so real.
About your country.
Yeah, that's something I didn't like. Like even for example, just an example, right? Like even minorities, like in the past when Singapore was constructed, the government kind of thought there's like a magical number of how many Indians to have, how many like Malays, Chinese, and like other people, and then you try to like keep this ratio constant. Even like I'm not sure if you know about like public housing.
Public housing.
Yeah, like HDBs.
Oh, it's a big
Like government housing.
government
Yeah.
housing,
So I live in an HDB, right?
Okay.
But over there, you can not everyone can buy a flat in the same building. Like for example, if you're an Indian person, you cannot just you need to wait for another Indian person to sell. So because the government has this ratio that you wanna keep constant,
Yeah.
right? So for example, like 70% Chinese, maybe like 20% Malays, and then 10% Indians. And then if you're minority, then the liquidity is lower, so you can't like sell or buy houses. But if I'm not wrong, I mean this was a while ago. I'm not really sure how that has evolved today. So that feels kind of like like engineered. So when you go to other countries, you feel like this is really like. More free. So yeah, but otherwise, I guess I really like Singapore now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the way people really put a lot of pressure on the youth about education. Because over here in Singapore, like people really care a lot about how you do in school, like overly care.
Okay.
And like the government is trying to fix it. They changed a bit of our education system, but I feel like it's still a big problem. Like when there's an exam in like when you're 12 years old, called PSLE, and like I see the 12-year-olds like they study a lot. Like back when I was in primary 6, I wasn't studying that much.
I wouldn't say hate for one, but for dislike, I think maybe the cost of living, because everybody knows that Singapore is relatively expensive also, and everybody is also quite busy and always rushing towards things, especially when you see in the public transport. People are walking quite fast compared to like countries that are more laid back, they are more relaxed. And I think because Singapore is still quite small, right, and we don't have a lot of good sceneries like other countries. So that is.
Okay, so last question. So what kind of country do you want Singapore to be in the future for yourself?
I would say in terms of like I would prefer it to be more like culture. Yeah, like because I like Japan. So yeah.
You notice I'm Japanese?
Yes, I know. I can tell. Yeah. So, but it's the culture. Like when we go to the, when we eat, and then when we go to the train station, it's usually very quiet in Japan. Yeah, I like that a lot. And then we can usually eat alone. Yeah. Sometimes because I'm here alone. Sometimes my colleagues are busy, so it's a little bit hard to eat alone.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to share tables and things like that.
I would love for it to be more accepting of alternate views. I think that's something I feel like Singaporeans like to conform to a certain type of person, right? Like for example, we don't really like to stand out so much, and I mean there's good and bad things about that, but then
Conservative or
yeah, in some ways, in the sense that we don't really like to catch other people like eyes, like we don't really like to stand out. So I think in some ways we can be more going forward. Maybe in like a few years time we can be more accepting of alternate views and things like that. That would be nice.
I guess I want Singapore to be more like sporty. Because I'm a student athlete, and like I feel like we are lacking behind in a lot of sports. I mean, our badminton is quite good. Swimming is also I think good. But like sports like football in Singapore, we're not that good. Like I want Singapore to be in like the World Cup, you know.
Singapore with an island of just a very small surface area. There's nothing much to envision Singapore to be. I mean, of course, I love the Alps in Japan. We love snows. We love the big countryside that other country can offer. Singapore itself, I mean, if I would just remain as it is, right, is that it continue to be a safe and efficient country where there is no war and peaceful. I mean, we still continue to attract global talents in, so that to boost our competitiveness on the global scale. Yeah, that's about it.
I think Singapore itself is great already, but if they are able to be like US where everybody wants to work there, or like they have a good financial hub, and because they are like the main central bank, right, where everybody follows. So if in the future Singapore will ever be like the US economy, that would be great. Yeah.
Thanks for watching so far. How was it? That was pretty interesting. If you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. If you have a countries that you want me to go, please let me know. See you next time.